Hello, welcome back again with me on this Chinese business culture series. And today we are going to look at the body language in China. I think we talk differently, that's very obvious, and we do behave differently too. Our body language also varies from culture to culture.
But with more familiar people, in the West probably a hug sometimes is okay. You know each other quite well. Standing by the side, an arm around, these kind of things are normal. Here I've made a couple of faux pas, realizing that probably is not the right thing to do here, particularly with people of the opposite sex.
Oh yeah.
So in many ways, body language is different here. The way people greet and express and relate to each other is very familiar, but familiar in a different way.
Okay.
So this is one of the things I've had to learn and try and observe what the differences are.
Okay, so talking about this greeting, so what parts of the body language that can be used very safe you can suggest to other people outside China?
So I think a handshake is always good, but I've noticed with ladies here, you probably need to do quite a soft handshake.
For example?
Yeah, so
I like this. It's a shallow handshake too.
Quite a shallow
not all the way. Not all the way.
Not like
this.
Yeah. And sometimes even it goes like this. Even I think.
A very gentle thing.
Very gentle. I think Chinese ladies probably a lot more gentle. And so you need to treat them a little bit more delicately, probably.
But let me ask you a question. When you first came here, you got a handshake like this. What's your reaction?
Yeah, well, I think particularly from men, a good handshake in the West is seen as confidence. So this kind of struck me as interesting. I think you probably don't judge a person completely on their handshake, but it is a first impression. And definitely a good firm handshake with a good clasp and full contact definitely conveys something initially. I don't notice that as much here.
And you will see that people in China, when they greet each other, the only thing they commonly use is a handshake. So there's no kiss, there's no hugging in public. However, between the same sex group, like men with men, women with women, you see quite a lot of body contact. You will see women with women, they put their arms around each other and walk in public like this. Or you may see girls walking down the street, hands in hands, or even put their arms around each other's waist. That is not something we would do in America or in Europe. Especially when we do that, we tend to think of their sexual orientation. However, in China, among the same-sex group, the same gender, people do that a lot. And they treat this as a kind of friendly gesture or even like brotherly or sisterly kind of relationship, so they feel very comfortable doing that. So when you see that, don't let your imagination go too far. It's nothing to do with anything else you would associate with when you're in America or in Europe.
Personal distance is another thing I've noticed here. So in certain situations, I feel in China people are willing to sit a lot closer. Maybe there are more people are used to being a little bit closer, even amongst colleagues, which I find at first a little bit disconcerting. But I think it has its positive. It has its positives. It brings people a lot closer together, I think. And this is another thing that you have to get used to.
Even the space between people.
The space between people, even the space they have when they're talking to you. Sometimes people can be a little bit. So I think probably the distance we are sitting here is a pretty decent distance in the West, whereas sometimes people here I feel sit a little bit too close, and I personally find this a little bit intimidating at first, or a little bit intrusive, I guess.
Another thing I think is about the office use. In China, it's really a mixture of public and private orientation in culture towards the space use. So when it comes to the use of the office room, the office space, I think when people know each other among colleagues, they tend to come to your desk, they tend to come to your space without really making any prior arrangement or announcement. They may be just coming and saying, oh, do you have a time? I have this for you to look at. Oh, please help me with this one. I think much more casual in the way people interact in the office. So when that happens to you, do not think it's because the Chinese people are lack of courtesy. Do not think that Chinese people are rude. It's really just a way cultural differences and point us towards.
I think Chinese are very good at multitasking. Possibly they might be working on the laptop while talking to me. And this is great for productivity, of course. But this is something else that you have to get used to realize it's not necessarily a rude thing. It's just, well, why not do two things at once?
In China, this is really a culture with single and multi-focus time orientation, and we do things at the same time. I mean, we have a much higher tolerance level towards people who do two things or three things at the same time and feel less bothered by that. So I think this is a good suggestion. You come, just be tolerant, get used to it, and knowing it's only a cultural difference rather than any deliberate conduct of disrespect to anybody at all. Right?
And I think one thing I'd like to add is with all these body language differences is I think it's important to realize you can possibly take advantage of this as well. So
I love that point too. Taking advantage of the.
You can therefore feel free to multitask when someone's talking to you, which is sometimes very liberating. So
we call that localization.
So it does broaden productivity. So I feel very welcome now when I'm talking to a local colleague to talk on my phone at the same time. We get a lot more things done probably.
Yeah, much more effective and efficient. I hear quite a number of my friends from Europe or from America telling me that Chinese people seem to have the same facial expressions, doesn't matter what happens. And some people even tell me, inscrutable face. That Chinese people tend to smile a lot when they talk to each other. And I do have a few people coming to me saying, wow, even when my Chinese colleague came to me telling me something really sad, they still had a smile on their face. And when I criticize or when we were arguing, they tend to have a smile on their face. What happened here? I would like to tell you why. Because people in China, in this culture, do value the control over excessive expression of feelings, excessive expression of their emotions. So when that happens, do not jump into the conclusion that Chinese people do not feel. Do not jump into the conclusion that Chinese people do not react to things with emotions. They are emotional. It's just culturally very much controlled. In America, I think there are some statistics shown that in America, people tend to have this eye contact with each other when they talk and interact much more frequently and much longer than in some countries like in China. So in China, I think people do look at each other, I mean, face to face and with eye contact. However, it's for a shorter period of time, and also when they talk to people in higher ranks or when they talk to people older than them, senior than them, they tend to look at, they tend to have less eye contact, because too much eye contact might be an indication of aggression or might be an indication of lack of respect.
Eye contact is something which I notice is used a lot less. So I'm not sure whether that's maybe between foreigners and locals, or whether that's something with locals. But I notice I'm used to looking directly in your eye.
Yeah. Be careful when you're in China. Learn how to express yourself appropriately and learn how to handle your facial expressions, your body language correctly as well, to avoid cultural misunderstandings. Again, good luck with you, and I will see you next time. Hello, I'm so glad to be back with you again on this Chinese business culture series. And now we are coming to a new topic about the attire, the way people dress in China. China is open to the whole world. So whatever you can see outside China, you will find them here in China. That is definitely true to the way people dress. So what am I going to say? I think 3 words may give you a general picture of the way people dress here. Casual, mixed, no strict rules. Talking about casual is that people in China in general are very casual with their clothes. And also at the same time, there are no real strict dress codes that can be applied to any occasion at all. And then we have this mixed phenomenon here. What do I mean? Here in China, in any city, in any place you go, you will see is a mixture of everything. Every fashion you can see is a lot of Western people, the Western dress, the Oriental dress, the traditional Oriental dress, the very conservative way of dress, and also very liberal way of dress. So it's all mixed together, and no rules you really can find, or no rules people really follow strictly at this time in China. Isn't that great? That means you can come to China, dress anything, any way you like, and still it doesn't offend anybody. Last month, I was in Shanghai. While I was staying in this hotel, I saw the people going to this elaborate banquet, the wedding banquet, in all sorts of clothes. Some of the men were in the t-shirts, some of the men were wearing shorts and sandals, while some of the young girls were dressed up really pretty and formal. It's all mixed together. People imagine people going to a wedding banquet in t-shirts, in shorts, in sandals. Well, it's just a way to convince you that in China now everything goes. There is not yet an established strict dress code for different occasions yet. So be relaxed and wear whatever comfortable, so long as you do not really reveal too much, because that is the only thing and people still view as negative yet in the way people dress.
The impressions we had of China was, before coming to China, was these, for some reason, always this white shirt, tie, and pants, but never this power kind of dressing.
Okay.
And that everybody was uniform. Consistent.
In uniform, okay.
Or consistent. So it's been interesting coming here and seeing that it's vastly different from what I expected. So there's a whole spectrum of clothing here, down from your very casual dressing to your power dressing as well.
Okay.
One notable difference I notice is the way women dress. So
tell me more about that.
So I notice women are a lot more feminine here. Possibly a lot more dresses here at work, which I find very different. In Australia, in the States, there's a lot more pants. A lot more, I guess, extremely business-like.
More gender-neutral kind of dress.
Gender-neutral kind of things. Here I notice a very big difference in the way women dress. And for men as well, I was surprised to see casual dress was actually a part of certain technology companies. Of course, in the, say, law firms and business things, people are dressing very similar to the Western world.
There is one rule I think is better for us to be careful with, is still don't forget it's a traditional, this is a country with a long tradition, and people tend to be conservative still in the way and they view each other. So do not reveal too much, do not wear something that really reveals too much. Even though you see a lot of people wearing very liberal clothes, transparent, half-transparent pants, or even very sort of revealing and exposing clothes. But even so, do not follow that trend, because in the business arena, people do respect people who dress up in a more conservative way. A few other points I wanted to remind us here about the way we should dress in China. even though we have the freedom to dress whatever way we want, however, you may find some of the practices among the Chinese people that you can be rather unused to. For example, you may find a lot of girls who are wearing beautiful clothes on the top, but however, when you look down, you see them wearing very short socks, transparent socks, to go with the long skirts. And also you may find that a lot of the men, they wear their chains on the belt, on the seat belt, on their waist belt, and that is something you don't normally see nowadays in the West. It's just the way people dress. And you may feel, wow, some of my Western friends are asking me, do Chinese men shave every day? I have to say, not really, and not everybody. So people in China and the men do not yet like the West. They shave like everyday thing. So if